Welcome everybody on this progress report. Let me introduce my PhD topic about the management of postoperative complications after third molar removal. My name is Eszter Hardi, and my vision as a PhD student is to improve the life quality of patients undergoing oral surgeries, and my mission is to find the best solution that alleviates patients' complaints after third molar removal. To achieve this, these are my current specific goals. I am investigating the effect of twin mix, kinesiology tape, and different flap designs on postoperative complications after lower third molar removal. My first project is about the effect of perineural twin mix injection in reducing postoperative complications in lower third molar removal, which is a systematic review and a meta-analysis. Why is this topic important? Because impacted lower third molar is found in 90% of the general population, and about 85% of the third molar will eventually need to be removed. And after this surgery, in the first 7 days, patients have swelling, trismus, and pain. So our question is, how can we reduce these symptoms? Well, twin mix anesthesia is a novel technique for mandibular anesthesia. What is twin mix? It contains local anesthetic solution and dexamethasone. Addition of dexamethasone decreases the leukotrienes and prostaglandins and increases the pH. Because of this, it decreases the pain, shorter onset, and prolongs the duration of anesthesia. So my aim is to assess whether pain, swelling, and trismus following surgical removal of the third molar can be reduced by twin mix injection. So I compared the twin mix anesthesia and the conventional anesthetic solution. The position of the included wisdom teeth are class 2 level A or B according to the Pell-Gregory classification. My primary outcomes are swelling and trismus, and my secondary outcomes are postoperative pain, pain score on local anesthetic injection, duration of soft tissue anesthesia, and latency of anesthesia. So my hypothesis is that this twin mix injection can reduce pain, swelling, and trismus after mandibular third molar removal. So I did the systematic search in the 3 main databases with this final search key, and after the selection, I have 8 eligible full text. So I finished my manuscript, and after many corrections, now I can send it to the internal review. In total, I have 14 figures, but due to the time constraints, I like to present my main 3 outcomes today. My first 3 figures are investigating the effect of perineural twin mix injection in reducing postoperative facial swelling on the 1st, 3rd, and on the 7th day. The facial edema is one of the most important outcomes because it affects both the trismus and the pain. In this case, the facial swelling is obtained by subtracting the postoperative condition from the preoperative condition to obtain the difference in millimeter. The facial edema was measured on different face lines, and based on this, we made 4 subgroups. On the first 2 figures, you can see quite high heterogeneities, and the explanation for this can be the different patients' characteristics and the subgroups. The pooled effect size are highlighted in red below the figures, and we can say that the average edema is around 20 millimeter, and on the 1st day and on the 3rd day, the facial swelling was reduced with 20–25% in the twin mix group compared to the control group. So we can say that the 1st day and the 3rd day are clinically relevant. My next 3 figures are investigating the effect of twin mix injection in reducing postoperative trismus on the 1st, 3rd, and on the 7th day. The trismus is also an important outcome because it largely determines the life quality after the surgery, and if there is a mouth opening limitation, then the speaking, the eating becomes difficult, and the maximum mouth opening becomes painful due to the muscle tense. In this case, the degree of trismus is obtained by subtracting the postoperative maximum mouth opening from the preoperative maximum mouth opening to obtain the difference in millimeter. Here, the ideal situation would be 0 millimeter, which means there is no trismus. On these figures, we can see a quite high heterogeneity, and the explanation for this also can be the different patients' characteristic. The pooled effect size are also highlighted in red next to the figures, and we can say that on all day the trismus was reduced significantly, but neither they are clinically relevant. The next three figures are investigating the effect of Twimix injection in reducing postoperative pain on the first, third, and on the seventh day. The trismus also determines the life quality, so it's also an important outcome. This postoperative pain was measured on this 10 points visual analog scale, where the ideal situation would be 0 point. We can say that the heterogeneities are quite high, and the explanation for this can be that the pain is a subjective feeling. And we can say that the first and the third days are clinically relevant, what you can see in red on the slide. The strength of my meta-analysis is that only RCTs were included, and the analyses were performed at multiple time points. And the limitation of this meta-analysis is that not the same references was used in case of swelling. In conclusion, Twimix significantly reduces the patient's swelling, trismus, and pain in the first 3 days, and Twimix shortens the latency and prolongs the duration of the anesthesia. So we can say that the Twimix is really useful because no additional injection is needed, and it contains low amount of steroid, so it means there is no complications, and the cost is low. And the implication for research is that we should make more studies for better evidence and follow up on each day, and we should use standardized measurement points. And we should include patients with similar patient characteristic. So I mentioned that I finished my manuscript, and after many corrections, I can send it to the internal review. My second project is about the effect of kinesiotape as an adjunct therapy in reducing postoperative complications in third molar removal, which is a randomized controlled trial. How I mentioned, after the lower third molar removal, in the first 7 days, patients have trismus, pain, and swelling. And with this current treatment, the postoperative complications are still present. So our question is, again, how can we reduce these symptoms? We always suggest the cryotherapy after the surgery because it produces vasoconstrictions and controls bleeding and decreases of tissue metabolism. In addition, a new technique appeared, which is the kinesiology tape treatment. How it works? It leads to the activation of mechanoreceptors by causing pressure and improving blood and lymph circulation. And it has many advantages because, for example, it's non-invasive, cost-effective, and continuously active throughout the entire application period. So my aim is to assess whether pain, swelling, and trismus following surgical removal of the third molar can be reduced by kinesiology tape. So I will compare the kinesiology tape with different tension and the kinesiology tape with no tension. My primary outcomes will be the swelling and the trismus, and my secondary outcomes will be the pain, the painkiller intake amount, the kinesiology tape discomfort, and the quality of life. My hypothesis is that kinesiotaping with 40% tension is more effective than other tension and placebo. So now I'm working on the protocol and the sample size calculation. So now I'm currently working on these 3 projects, and my plan is to finish my first project in July and the other 2 in December. And I'd like to thank you for your attention. With a goal without a plan is only a dream. Thank you.
Congratulations for your presentation. My question is that you mentioned in the limitations that not the same references were used. What does it mean?
Yes, I mentioned that we have to make subgroups because in the articles they used many references on the face, so face lines, and then we have to make subgroups, and we collect it in one forest group, one forest plot, because the difference is not too much between the lines, but I think it can be a limitation.
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to ask about the kinesiotape. How do you, maybe it's not related for the research itself, just a general question, that how do you ensure the exact 20% and 40% tension?
Well, we have a formula for this, and we can calculate it with that, but it's really simple because we can measure this distance, and then we will shorten the tape with 20 or 40%. So it's really simple.
I'm asking about your first project. So what's the final conclusion? Would you recommend the twin mix for your colleagues to use in everyday practice? Because as I see the results, you know, this 1.7 millimeters difference in the opening diameter and the 1 point difference in the analog scale, I'm not that convinced that
yes.
we are gaining with this.
Yes, in case of trismus, I mentioned that we didn't find a relevant number, but for example, in case of pain, 1 point is I think a really good number if we can reduce the pain with 1 point, because it's only just a 10 points visual analog scale, so it's better. And in case of swelling, the numbers are clinically relevant.
And what was the average?
So I absolutely recommend it. Sorry?
What is the average pain?
Average pain was around 5. So yes, so 1 point is better.
Thank you. So congratulations. My question relates a little bit to Marci's question. I would like to know that even if it doesn't seem clinically very better results, but it still has. But is there any obstacles or drawbacks using the mixed method? I mean, is it more expensive, or why is it not widespread use?
Well, in the clinical practice, we also use steroids, or dexamethasone, and we can use it in different ways. For example, we can inject it in the submucosal or intravenous or intramuscular, but it's a really new technique that we can mix the dexamethasone with the anesthetic solution.
I see. Thank you very much.